Good morning. Today we'll be making a very nice pumpkin soup. One of my pumpkins that is homegrown, which I have a littler one which I've already cut up into cubes. But before we start, we have to make this kind of mice pizza, which is a very thin flour. You would probably think it's, you could probably use polenta flour, that we have to put into a bowl with a tiny bit of salt, have some hot boiling water, and we pour it into the flour, the polenta flour, quite a bit. It has to absorb. The water has to be boiling. And you've put a little bit of water. Start stirring and try to make it as smooth as possible without getting too many lumps in it. When you see it dries out, add some more hot boiling water. We have this mice flour here in Italy, and we use it to make this kind of a pizza bread to put into sauces, to put into soups, to add with our vegetables, and also with white beans, Italian beans. I used cannellini beans. You can buy them already already cooked, and it's still a bit tough, so we add a little tiny bit more water. In the meantime, we have to put onto the gas this pan, and with a bit of oil, which has to be quite hot oil. We let it go, keep stirring, and try to get it all without any lumps. It doesn't have to be very hard, it has to be semi-soft. If it's too soft, it's going to be runny when you cut this pizza, and if it's too hard, it won't cut at all. So we have to have a medium-sized texture. Add just a tiny bit more water, and I think we've about got it now. There you go. Getting it going while the oil is heating up there, and it should look a bit like this. It's very nice to use instead of bread, or I don't know, dried bread or toast. This is very, very good. I've made it first because it takes about half hour, 3/4 of an hour to cook. Once you've got it all done well, I've added a bit of salt to this, and it should look like this. Remove it for a minute, and put our pan here with the warm oil. Turn it on. There you go. Okay, so when the oil has warmed up a bit, we'll start adding it a little at a time, all around the pan. You can hear it sizzling. It's a fried. You can do it in the oven, but it doesn't get so tasty. When we put the whole lot in, like this, it comes in yellow or in white, this flour. I prefer the white one, but at the moment I only had the yellow in the house. Level it out a bit. And once you have levelled it out, you can see it's frying on the side there. Once you have levelled it out, put it onto a very low gas. And this should cook in about half hour on one side, half hour on the other. See how it goes. We'll put a top to it and we'll let that cook. In the meantime, in this pan we've put olive oil, which is one of my favourite ingredients. I try to do all my frying in olive oil because it's a bit healthier than the normal oil. We're going to add garlic and start to get it frying up. There it is. Garlic. Fry it up a bit. When it starts to fry, we're going to add a bit of cubed potatoes. Let them roast. Give it a quick stir. Turn the flame down a bit so that the potatoes can get nice and browny. They have to be brown. Sear the garlic and also the potatoes. In the meantime, that this is heating up a bit, we've already cut up tomatoes, little tiny pomodorini tomatoes cut into two. And we've already cut up our pumpkin into cubes, so you can add it to the garlic and the potatoes. When you see that the potatoes are going a bit brown, they have to be cubed, not very big, because they don't really should take that long. The pumpkin takes about 10 minutes to cook. This is a very nice vegetarian meal. And as they brown off a little tiny bit, give it a couple of minutes. Seeing how my beans are cooking. I'm going to take another couple of minutes. This is very vegetarian, but in my beans I have added a little tiny bit of meat just to give it a little taste. If you don't want to put any meat into the beans, you don't have to. Just cook the beans as normal. I usually put them in water the night before, and these are the dried beans. And the next morning they have grown, the double, and you just cook them. Add a little tiny bit of stock cube into the beans and cook. I did not put any stock cube because I put a tiny bit of meat so that they would have a nice flavour. When these have browned off, there we go, the potatoes and the garlic, before they start burning, we will add the pomodorini. Give them a quick stir. Until they are well cooked, the tomatoes. They have to be well cooked because otherwise what's going to happen is that we're going to have raw potatoes and raw tomatoes. So we'll let it go for a while until the tomatoes have softened down a bit. Here you go, look, this is what it looks like. So that while that cooks a tiny bit, I'm going to explain to you about pumpkins. Pumpkins are associated to Halloween. But us in Italy use them in different kind of foods, or I suppose they do in all over the world. I love to make pumpkins cut up in slices, rolled with prosciutto crudo and stuck in the oven. The pumpkins have to be filled with all different spices and seasonings, also with basilico, garlic, vegetable seasoning. You roll them up and you actually put them in the oven with the prosciutto around the side of it. It is nice for, I don't know if you've got friends over, or for a quick snack. After about 30 minutes, they are well and cooked, and you can take them out, and very, very, very tasty way to snack. When this is halfway through, we're going to add a tiny bit of water. And just keep it cooking for 5 minutes until the tomatoes have cooked quite well. In this case, we're going to add salt and pepper. This is my ground pepper. And then we're going to add a tiny bit of salt. As that's going. There you go. These are our autumn meals. I do like to have all this kind of meals that we do cook with this kind of pizza. That's what it looks like at the moment. About half hour's time I'm going to turn it over. And the nice thing about this pumpkin soup is that we're going to add also the beans once they are cooked. So when this starts boiling up, pumpkins only take about 10 minutes to cook. So what we're going to do is throw my cubed pumpkins in. Give it a quick stir. With the tomatoes and the garlic, salt and pepper. What we're going to do now is add a tiny bit of water, just on the top of the level of your ingredients. There we go. Smells already so nice. So we're going to add some more water. We're going to actually cover it with water. So that when they do cook, they're going to be nice and soft. And my glass just fell over. Okay, this is what it should look like. I hope you can all see it. When it comes to boil, put it down and let them cook for about a quarter of an hour. I'm going to cover it. In the meantime, our pizza is going well. Here you go. In about another quarter of an hour's time, I'm going to turn it over. It's going to have a nice dark crust on the outside underneath. Turning it over, you get another crust on the other side. And what happens is that when the pumpkin is cooked with the tomato sauce, we're going to add the beans, and then we're going to put on the side a nice piece of this mice pizza. My beans are ready, so as soon as the pumpkin is cooked, I'm going to add my beans to it, and we're going to have an absolutely beautiful sauce and a beautiful, absolutely beautiful soup. Well, I hope you enjoy it. I'll let them cook by themselves, and I'll leave you to do a nice pumpkin soup when you have time. Bye bye.